Aaron Judge is a better version of Brock Lesnar.
What is something you love as much as the Charmin Bears love wiping?
As an opposing fan, you'd probably see his face and want to sock him between your cracks.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Losses Above Replacement. We are so back. Before we get started, a somber message. Rest in peace, Garrett Anderson, the all-time leader in games played for the Angels. Also a Brave, also a Dodger. People forget, but he did play for those teams. So rest in peace, Garrett Anderson, a really excellent player. An all-star. He won a home run derby, if memory serves.
He did.
He did.
Was a part of the 2002 World Series winning Angels squad. And just a great player. And the stories that have come out this week, just a great dude. There's a story, someone that wasn't really into baseball, but was living in the blue part of Los Angeles in terms of Dodgers blue, not political blue, but Dodgers blue part. But he happened to be neighbors with Garrett Anderson's dad. And Garrett Anderson, came through the neighborhood doing some like charity work. And he got to talking with this guy. And he turned this non-baseball fan in the middle of Dodgers country into an Angels fan. So that sounds like the kind of man that Garrett Anderson was, and he will be missed. And
Absolutely.
it's just sad to hear. And a lot of some legends have passed so far this season, and it's a shame.
Yeah, that's one of the things that it's kind of weird as you get older and you start to learn more about a lot of these players, and then to see them gone is always hard, right? Especially even if it's players that weren't legendary status here, again, whenever you hear, I still will always be down by Greg Hallman's death. That's one that I always go back to, just because it was so sudden, so out of nowhere here. But no, yeah, rest in peace to Garrett Anderson, one of the true legends of our game.
Yeah, and I got to go to an Angels game in 2007 when the Angels were sort of at the height of their powers, and Garrett Anderson was probably the most popular player on that roster at the time. I remember seeing a lot of people wearing his jersey. He was super popular amongst the fan base and amongst the clubhouse, it seems. And I remember in particular Terry Collins, who's some of his first managerial experience was with the Angels in the majors, and I remember him saying that Garrett was a great leader for that clubhouse and a strong presence. So right. Yeah, he will definitely be missed, taken from us far too soon.
Yeah. So rest in peace, GA. And the Angels had not a ceremony, but I think they're wearing patches now.
Yep, for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think he's the best Angels outfielder that's not fish related.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. Him versus Vladdy.
Vladdy won the MVP, but Anderson is first in, I think, hits, games played, RBI, runs, something like that.
He also got the series clinching double in Game 7 of the World Series, bases clearing double against Livan Hernandez that ended up being the difference in the game. So he has that too.
Yeah, I mean, totally makes sense here. Elena, it's good to see you as well. Yo!
All right, I'll give you guys a rundown of what we're going to do today. We are going to break down the worst teams in baseball. Sorry, Rocky. Sorry, White Sox. We're breaking down the surprising bad teams, not the expected to be bad teams. So Alex's Mariners were spared today because they came back and beat the A's. Otherwise, I would have been pounding the table for them to be included in today's episode. But that's neither here nor there. We will start with the American League, then go to the National League. We're also going to have a special trivia segment hosted by Alex, our reigning champion. We have our moment to ourselves. And we got some extra special sprinkles in. We got our question of the day, courtesy of Eddie from last week. We have our war update, and we also have our awards update. Our war update is going to be wild. I mentioned it to Alex and Mac earlier in the day. We're all winning. Somehow we are all winners. We all have our own genuine awards. It's not even a participation trophy. It's not, oh, congrats on your bronze medal in a three-player competition. No, we're all winning technically. So without further ado,
there are only 3 participants. How did you do that?
Exactly. Without further ado, let's talk about the Boston Red Sox. they're not good this year. And first, jumping off point I want to use is one Garrett Crochet. And Garrett Crochet has had a no good, very bad, quite rough start. We'll talk more about that when we get to Alex's war draft. But Garrett Crochet, 5 starts, 4 hit by pitches, that leads to major leagues, 21 earned runs, that leads to major leagues, is a 7.88 ERA and a negative 0.8 WAR. Fellas, through the lens of Garrett Crochet, let's talk about the Red Sox being garbage.
Yeah, I'm sounding the alarm here. This is, I didn't think they were much more than a wild card team to begin with. I thought they were maybe wild card 2 at best, but I have so many concerns about the Red Sox right now. Their lineup isn't gelling at all. I mean, seriously, it's just everyone outside of, it feels like Wilson Contreras, Yoshida, and Abreu. I guess, Rafael's been all right, but they're all just struggling badly. Marcelo Mayer has, still looks like he's struggling to acclimate to major league pitching. Roman Anthony has, he has a 325 slugging percentage. That's not great. Jaron Duran has a sub 500 OPS. Like, this team is just underperforming as a whole. And then, when your best pitcher, the guy you expect to, be a Cy Young contender, has an ERA up around 8, that's a problem. And it's not just him, though. Brian Bayo has not been great. Ranger Suarez was on a nice little run, but he's getting roughed up by the Yankees tonight. Sonny Gray just went on the injured list, so it's basically just Connolly Early that's performing to expectations. So this is a disaster, being straight up. I'm not even going to mention the bullpen because they haven't really had any opportunities to protect leads or anything. So, not good in Beantown.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't want to sound the alarm because it is April, but the signs are not looking good for this team. Here, Garrett Crochet has looked honestly abysmal here, and it's so weird to see when you see the name Garrett Crochet here and you see a negative 0.8 baseball reference WAR. You think something horrible wouldn't happen. Also, Double Bass, glad to see you into the show for the first time. I'd love to see it. But no, the starting pitching is what's worrisome to me the most, because you only have 2 starting pitchers that have an ERA plus above 100. Again, reminder, 100 is the average. The average player is 100. And those 2 are Connolly Early and Connolly Early and Ranger Suarez. And even then, it's not by that much either. Like, Connolly Early, absolutely yes. He's at about 147, which is solid. Aroldis Chapman has been amazing. ERA plus of 372. The problem is, your closer doesn't get to do much if you're not winning ball games or you're not leading late in ball games. That's one of the biggest issues. And for Chapman, who has been a career closer, you live off of that high. You really do here. So what do you do at that point? Then go back to the offense here. Yeah, unless your name is Wilson Contreras, Masataka Yoshida, or Wilyer Abreu, you've not been good. You've not been performing the way you have. Because right now, the AL East is such an interesting division. Because the more you look at it, the more you're like, this is really anyone's game here. Because you have the Rays that are playing, honestly, pretty all right baseball. Not amazing baseball. They're playing all right here. The Yankees are playing, honestly, I think a little above what they are capable of here. But that's, hey, you know what? They've proven me wrong before. The Blue Jays were supposed to be a lot higher here, and the Orioles are playing above expectations, which is weird to say when you're playing at about 500. But no, I mean, I'm looking at the Red Sox now, 9-14 here, and the biggest stats for me, though, isn't the pitching. The fact that you have 2 starters that are playing at above average. The rest of them are well below average, and that's including your opening day ace. Here, XYZ Ballin. Maybe they should have traded Devers. Oh, wait, no, he's bad too. You know just as well. Again, talk about another nothing burger of a trade. Also, I want to give a quick little shout out to Elena's here. Top 3 Mariner players of all time. I'll do that a little bit later here because I want to make sure we're keeping on track here with the topic, but don't worry, we will get back to that.
Yeah, I think Crochet is going to be fine. It's a couple goofy outings. The Twins, at least from what Crochet said, so this is Crochet's words. He thought the Twins self-scouted really well and were attacking the places that Crochet thought he was going to be able to attack these hitters. And they ambushed him and demolished him. 10 earnings, 13 total runs. It happens. That's a little extreme on the it happens scale, admittedly, but I trust Crochet to be a top 10 pitcher the rest of the season. That'll course correct. I have my large, major, humongous concerns with the offense. And I would like to take a moment to say I'm sorry to the baseball public, to our 1,000+ subscribers, to those of you that watch and consume our videos and our podcasts. I said in the offseason, I don't buy Fangraph's lack of power projections. I think they will be fine. Turns out they were not fine. They're bad. They cannot hit the baseball. Besides Wilson Contreras, he's very good. He's been great this season. So outside of Contreras, who has 4 home runs, Wilyer Bray, who has 3 home runs, he's kind of cooled off after a hot start, but he's like kind of in the Ben Rice situation of, yeah, he's going to platoon a little bit. So you're taking one of your best hitters out of the lineup against some lefties. So it's like, okay, great. Trevor Story, 2 home runs. He has been atrocious this season, but he does have 2 home runs. Marcelo Meyer, 1 home run. Roman Anthony, 1 home run. Cedeno Rafaela, 1 home run. He has walked some. Congratulations, buddy. He's also been hit by 4 pitches. Jarren Duran, 1 home run. That's it. 13 home runs for your entire team. Yordan Alvarez is going to have 13 home runs by tomorrow afternoon, probably. And half of those came against the Red Sox. This team has been inept offensively, an 88 OPS plus. They're hitting 229. They walk a little bit. They have a isolated power of 109. You are in Fenway Park. It is a doubles paradise. It is a hitter's paradise for right-handed hitters. Trevor Story, why are you garbage? Cedeno Rafaela, he's actually been good. I'm not going to take anything away from that. Carlos Narvaez, why do you have a 59 OPS plus? Caleb Durbin, why are you hitting 155? What are we doing?
That's the one that really is just alarming to me.
What on... I don't know. I don't know, man. Roman Anthony's has the 99 OPS plus. In theory, he'll be better. He's also 22, or in his age 22 season. Maybe I was a little early on saying he should be a MVP finalist. So I got Boston wrong. It looks like I was high on the Yankees. I thought Boston would be good. I thought Toronto would be good. I thought those would be playoff teams. Boston, I think the pitching is going to be fine. The bats, I'm worried. Besides Contreras, and Contreras is a professional hitter, I have my wonders about how he'll fare over 600 plate appearances because do recall he is a former catcher. He has never had more than 563 plate appearances in a season. He did that last year. I'm curious over 600 plate appearances if he gets there. But yeah, woof.
One thing I want to kind of bring up here as well is, and this goes for a lot of people that are saying that people are making these reads, these predictions way too early. You're right. We are. These are way, way too early. However, there was a point that was brought up to me a little bit ago, and it made me kind of reevaluate how I think about, especially the early game projections here. Baseball is a marathon, 100%. No one's going to doubt that. 162-game season is grueling. But you take a look at the end of the season here, and usually the games are the standings, for getting into the playoffs are decided by 1 or 2 games. Like, that's how it is here. And when you go back and say, like, man, you know what? Look back in April when you had that horrendous series against, Boston, or you had that horrendous series against, I don't know, the Mets, something like that. And that, you go back and you take that as just one microcosm here. It does carry over. Like, a loss is a loss no matter what time of year it is. A win is a win no matter what time of year it is. Like, do some of them seem to feel like they matter more? Yeah, because it's in crunch time. That's one of the reasons why the NFL's like so much more okay with only 17 games. Every game felt like it mattered more. Whereas in this one, 1 loss doesn't feel like much. 2 losses doesn't feel like much. They start to pile up. And when you go an entire month here and you lose, like, let's say 17 games in a month here, that's when you realize that over the course of that month, now you're playing like 4 or 5 games below 500. And now that means the next month to get back to 500, you have to do the reverse of that. And that's just to get back to even here. So is it too early to make full, like say, oh yeah, this is how it's going to be forever? Yeah, it's a little early for that. But that does not mean that we can't be at least a little bit worried about what it means in the now, because that now, that win that you get or that loss that you get is going to matter by the end of the season.
So, fellas, we are not going to go to the AL Central because the AL Central is competent, actually, for once.
Splash, you just muted there, bud. Mac, you can hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Splash, you're muted. I have a feeling he's having an issue with internet, so let's keep talking here at this exact just while we're waiting for this. So I have a feeling something's going on with his internet. So let's move on here over to the AL West here, and again, there are a few teams kind of to talk about here, but we're going to talk about the Astros here because I don't think anyone expected them to be dead last, right? Like I think a lot of people really expected it to be the Angels, like that was like their home. They'd already made vacation plans here for October. And now you take a look at the team here and you're realizing, wait a minute, what's going on? The Astros are 10-16 and the Mariners are 11-15. The Angels are 12-14. Like what's going on here? And for the Astros, like I said, I don't think anyone expected them to, win the division or anything like that. But having them as last place where the Angels are at least 2 games above 500. Talk to me a little bit about what you are feeling here, Mac. You're probably splashed. Are you able to hear us again?
Yeah. Did you guys get my Royals bit?
None of that. No, you went mute for a while, and we're like, "What's going on here?" So we'll get back to you in just a second, then. Okay. So, Mac, I want you to talk to me first, though, about the Astros' struggles this year, because honestly, it's been a very odd issue to see about what's been wrong with them.
Yeah, because their offense has been elite. There's no denying that. I mean, entering today with a 124 OPS plus as a team, that's great. That is, if you're doing that as an individual player, that's good. If you're doing that as a team, you're doing something right. I mean, 8 of their 9 everyday players are 100 OPS plus or better. But I mean, Yordan Alvarez in particular, I want to shout him out. He had his 11th home run of the year today. He looks like vintage Yordan Alvarez. I feel like it almost got lost on people last year. Yordan Alvarez is one of the best pure hitters in baseball. He just needs to stay healthy. I mean, I believe their offense is great. I'll say that much. Their pitching staff, boy, that is a mess. Their ERA as a staff is 6.05. They already had to demote their closer, or not sent to the minors, but Brian Abreu has lost his closer's role, and he wasn't even supposed to be the closer to begin with Josh Hader being on the IL, so they've relegated him. They have Enyel De Los Santos stepping in as the closer for now, but this is really just it's a disaster on the pitching front. But I think of the teams in the American League, at least, that are currently in the basement, I believe in them to at least fight for a playoff spot. You see how talented they are offensively. I think there's no way this pitching is as bad as their numbers show right now. Plus, we saw them do this 2 years ago. They had a terrible start to the year in 2024 and ended up winning the division. I think they'll be fine, really. Maybe they're probably not going to win the division, but I think they're going to challenge for at least wild card 3.
Yeah, my cat Gigi making an appearance on the pod here, and we'll be continuing on, as you can see her climb on top of my chair here now. Splash, yeah, this is one of the more interesting scenarios because we go back to, the Astros and Mariners series, what was called by by the Cespedes family barbecue, having it be the movable object versus the stoppable force. in which Seattle swept that series. So here for Seattle. But give me your thoughts right now on the Astros.
Yeah, like Max said, they can't pitch. They can hit. I'm actually surprised they are hitting as well as they have been. With all lots of respect to Jordan, big time bounce back season. He's been absolutely electric this year. But yeah, a 73 ERA plus is not going to get it done. It's an ERA worse than the Nationals, even after they allowed a bunch of runs today. Mike Burrows stinks. He leads the American League in hits allowed. Lance McCullers, welcome back. I'm actually not going to roast Lance McCullers. It's great to see him pitching again. Spencer Arrighetti, he's been good. Hunter Brown, hurt. Christian Javier, hurt. Tatsuya Amai, misses home. I'm not going to blame him for that, but he's been not very good this year, and Javier was even worse. So, Enel De Los Santos, I don't want to talk about him as a Braves fan. Yikerinos. But this is just it's a struggling staff. As a team, they have a 5.7 walks per 9. Now, I know walks are up. It's like the highest rate it's been since 1950 or something ludicrous like that. But 5.5 walks per 9, if they walked 5 batters tonight, that their average would go down. If they walked 11 batters in 2 games, their average would go down. That is a preposterous statement. Now, part of that is Tatsuya Imai walking 11 batters in 8 2/3 innings. Yikes. But some of these bullpen arms, like Brian Abreu, who walked 13 batters in 7 1/3 innings. He's faced 43 batters. He's walked 13 of them. That is not good. Like, he has a good strikeout rate. He struck out 12 out of 43. That's over 25%. He's walking even more. That's just preposterous. Now, they've been hitting, and they've been hitting quite well. Christian Walker bounced back. Jose Altuve looks rejuvenated. Carlos Correa, welcome back. Isaac Paredes has been a little cold. He's a 100 OPS plus. Cam Smith has come down to earth. He's still good. Jordan Alvarez leads the American League in just about every major hitting category, but the pitching is just atrocious. And I think I'm going to make a weird comparison. Houston with the ballpark can't afford to be atrocious pitching. Like, even Washington, who has just awful pitching, at least they aren't subject to Crawford box home runs, right? This is very similar to what Colorado has to deal with, or the A's have to deal with, or if the Yankees were ever bad, what they potentially would have to deal with their short field or short porch and right field. But when you have a ballpark that is designed like that, and fair enough, they can take advantage of it as offensive players, but it becomes troublesome when your pitching is atrocious and you're allowing 1.4 home runs per 9, and Burrows has allowed 5 home runs entering play today. Ryan Weiss has allowed 5 home runs in 18 innings. Colton Gordon has allowed 4 home runs. Brian Abreu allowed 4 home runs. It's like half the team's allowed, a ton of home runs. And when you are facing predominantly right-handed batters and they can just take aim at the Crawford boxes, you have to be good. And even when you have great pitchers, the Justin Verlanders and Garrett Coles, when they were in Houston, they had a bit of a home run problem, but it didn't matter because they were solo home runs. But when you have a 5.7 walks per 9 and you compound that by allowing tons of home runs, you're going to get pounded. So I do not trust the Astros. I had them out of the playoffs to begin the year. I had them below the A's, below the Rangers, below the Mariners. I had them in 4th. I think they will continue to be bad at baseball. Maybe not this bad. I don't think a 73 OPS or ERA plus is going to hold, but they're just fundamentally stinky. With all due respect to our future MVP overlords in Jordan Alvarez.
Yeah, and that's what I'm seeing, honestly, from this team. But this is going to be weird coming from the Mariner guy here. I'm not as worried about them for the sole purpose of, you take a look at some of their best arms, and they've had a lot of injuries here. Again, Hunter Brown, Splash, you've had him in the Cy Young conversation here more times than not here. Christian Javier hurt. Tatsuya Imai has a few things to get through, and you know what? Honestly, I understand that here too. I don't think their level of walking people is going to continue on, because if it does, then this is going to sound really weird here, but the Astros are about to become, if this continues on, the new version of the Los Angeles Angels, where it does not matter if you score 10,000 runs, if you give up 10,001. And that's what it's looking like at the moment. Do I think that's going to be exactly what's going on? No. Brian Abreu, we've seen as a better arm than what he is showing right now. Although it's always weird to see that you have an ERA for your closer of almost 15. Like, you take away 10 from that, and it's still concerning. But that's the thing you have to kind of keep in mind here, is that they're so injury plagued right now. I mean, go back to, I think it was the first game against Seattle. They used, I think it was 8 pitchers in that game. Imai, I don't think made it through the first inning here. Like, that's what you have to kind of figure out. Like, the offense is doing its job. Like, we all knew going into this year that their offense was going to be dangerous here. Like, that was always going to be their stamp of approval. It was always going to be about whether or not the pitching could hold up, and so far it's not. Does that mean that it is going to continue to not? No. I think when you have some of these players getting back from injury, I think the pitching should hopefully do a little bit better, because on top of it, your main injuries have been to the starting staff. And when you have your starters out, that means the bullpen has to go longer. When bullpen arms go longer, they tend to make more mistakes because bullpen arms do not usually have to go more than 2 innings. Splash, you had a note.
Yes. So I do want to bring up that Hader's coming back, and that should help a lot of things.
I was going to mention that, yeah.
And yes, the starting pitchers should return in theory. The Houston Astros have a bad reputation for injury management. I would like to direct you to Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez. And Yordan Alvarez for years now. This is not just a new thing. So if they say Hunter Brown is out for 2 weeks, I am looking at them like they have 18 heads. So yeah, Hunter Brown's on the 15-day, and they have I'm blanking on his name. He's on the 60-day, and Imai is on the 15-day. I'm rounding up on those. I don't know when they're going to be back. And yeah, Hunter Brown is a great pitcher when he's on the field. If he's not on the field, it doesn't matter. You're replacing him with someone a lot worse. And that's what is concerning me. It's sort of like the Ravens injury situation the last few years. Sorry, Giants fans. Yikes. They traded Dexter Lawrence. But like, I fundamentally do not trust the Houston Astros training staff to get their players back on the field. Maybe Josh Hader will be back by the end of the month. I don't know. I'm not taking.
He's on the 60-day though, so he's out until Memorial Day probably.
Okay, fair point. I am still taking the higher end of the projection. I don't think he's going to be back 60 days or 61 days. Maybe in June, July, August. Is he ever going to be back? I don't know. That's where the Astros are in my headcanon right now. They can hit. Yeah. Their injuries are just piling up, and I don't trust their training staff to get the guys back on the field.
Yeah, the pitching injuries really concern me, because Hunter Brown was a Cy Young finalist last year. He would easily be the best pitcher on the team right now. And Hader, as great as he was last year, he was injured late in the year. And sometimes when you get a guy back from the injured list, especially a guy who spent a long time on the IL, they're just not the same. That's my concern here with Hader, especially a guy who's in his 30s. Like, what can you expect Josh Hader to be when he's back? Are you going to see the Josh Hader we saw last year? Or are we going to see the Josh Hader that got shelled in the 4 weeks before he got traded to the Padres?
Exactly. One thing I want to bring up here, actually could add a little bit more on to Splash's point here. There was a big show of exactly what you're talking about last year at the end of the year here, and the series between Seattle and Houston in Houston. There was one person that was injured for a good part of the year that they rushed back because they wanted him to be there to face Seattle. That one person was Isaac Paredes. And what did he do the rest of that year? Oh, yeah. He couldn't finish the games because he was still hurt. Like, I'm with you on this one, Splash. I have a lot of problems with how they manage, injuries and all that here. They have a tendency for rushing players back here, but, to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, to each their own indeed. So I had a beautiful soliloquy about the Kansas City Royals and how they suck, and how we're going to talk about Bobby Witt. And the problem is that he's only scored 4 runs. So I'm going to try to rehash that. Bobby Witt Jr. has scored 4 runs this season. The Royals have lost 2/3 of their games. Fellas, why can the Royals not drive Bobby in? What's the problem?
Look at the stats. Basically everyone other than like Carter Jensen isn't hitting. It's as simple as that. I mean, you expect Vinny Pasquantino, especially after that WBC he had, to have a higher than 470 OPS. Salvador Perez, 536. Jonathan India's hurt, but 623. Isaac Collins, another guy who, the Brewers traded, and he immediately turns into a pumpkin, just like Caleb Durbin. He's at 519. I mean, really, Jack Caglione is, he's above average by OPS plus. You expect him to have more than 1 homer and 2 RBIs at this point in the season. I mean, their money makers are not doing their jobs right now. So, I mean, I was already kind of low on the Royals coming into the year, and they're not really proving me wrong. The pitching staff, outside of Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo, I mean, Bubic has regressed predictably. Reagans has been underwhelming again. And the bullpen, it doesn't matter who's pitching the 9th inning. Carlos Estevez was clearly not healthy. Lucas Erceg has been not much better. So this is not good. Royals fans, I understand if you're sounding the alarm button, and I'm frankly looking at them like they're going to be sellers at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I'm fully with you here. I'm very I'm worried about the Royals because actually I think I was pretty high on them at the start of the year, because what I liked about them is that they found a way to manufacture a lot of runs. It wasn't always just the long ball. However, you take a look at the team right now, and they aren't playing with any amount of manufacturing runs here. Here's the thing. When you are manufacturing, if your entire identity is we're not going to hit the long ball a lot, but we're going to hit, extra base hits, right? You're going to take those extra base hits. You're going to get the single, maybe a steal here and there. You need to also have the entire lineup able to do that at least a pedestrian level. Like, that's the other thing here, is that you take a look at the OPS pluses right on the team. Bobby Witt Jr. and Maikel Garcia are playing just above average. Like, remember, this is a guy that's been in the MVP conversation multiple times now. Bobby Witt Jr., I should say, not Maikel Garcia. But for only having a 113 OPS plus when you are the team's driving force is a little alarming. But you know what? Hey, that's okay. Your stars can have times where they're not playing at their star level here. Julio Rodriguez, how you doing? But when the rest of your team is not producing here, where Carter Jensen has been your most consistent bat, that's worrisome. Caglione is playing average here. Kyle Isbell, slightly above average. Actually, he has a higher OPS plus. He has a higher OPS plus than Bobby Witt Jr. I wonder how many people had that on their bingo cards here. But the one that's still just, it sticks out like a sore thumb to me is Vinny Pasquantino, the Pasquatch. And again, you brought this up earlier. After the WBC, everyone thought he was primed to have a monster year, that he showed that he can be the guy here for this. Well, the only thing he is doing is warming the bench here with a 35 OPS plus. Not 135, 35. He is playing at, he is playing less than half the production of a average major league hitter. That is horrid here. And going here, actually a comment here from XYZ Ballin saying, do you think there's a WBC curse? No, I don't like to put any stock in that, because it's just games. You're going to play games anyway in spring training. These just had more fun with them. But what I am seeing here now is that the offense has just been pedestrian when you need to have a higher level offense when you play the kind of baseball that the Royals do here. And their pitching has not been the worst thing in the world. It's been better than Houston's. But that's not saying anything. Let's be honest here. That's like putting a bar directly on the ground and say, can you hop over this, please? Which, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but even my bad knees can make that jump. But no, you look at this here. Lugo and Wacha have been fantastic. Bubic is average. Reagans and Cameron, no. And the 9th inning doesn't exist to any player. Nick Mears has been your best reliever. And then in a bullpen that has Lucas Erceg and Alex Lang and Matt Strahm, the fact that Nick Means is your number one guy has been an issue. Also, Carlos Estevez hurt. Yeah, that sounds about right. And a 5+ ERA as well. Thank you, Double Bass. I don't know what to say about the Royals here because unless your offense can pick it up, you're not going to win ball games in a Central Division that is surprisingly becoming almost competitive.
Yeah, and I mean, I was really high on the Royals heading into 2024. I've said this team is going to explode positively. They lost 110 games or whatever in 23, but I thought I bought into the hype in 24, and guess what? They made the playoffs. They took a step back last year, probably played more towards their true talent level, but this year it's just been a slog. And the Royals have talented pieces, and I will give them credit. The outfield has been their best outfield in probably 10 years. And that is even considering Isaac Collins, who's been atrocious, Kyle Isbell, who's been dead on average, and Jack Caglione, who's been dead on average. Yes, the outfield's been that bad the last few years that average is bringing it up. But I think Witt and Garcia, that is as probably a top 5, 1-2 in the order. In theory, you have a true superstar in Witt, and then Garcia, I think, is right behind him. But they've both been just good, not quite all-star level players. And then outside of that, it's been Pasquantino has a 242 slugging. That's not getting it done. Salvador Perez, mental break or not, he has a 52 OPS plus. I know he never walks, but at least he should slug some. He's slugging 315. And I have my concerns with the Royals. I didn't have them in the playoffs to begin the year. And look, some of my priors suck. Some of my priors are great. I don't exactly think the Royals are turning this around anytime soon. So, fellas, we need a break from the baseball talk. We had so much bad baseball. Let's have a good question. We have our question of the day. Fellas, this is from Eddie last week. What are your 3 favorite foods? And I will begin with a caveat. I had general foods. There are more, specialized. So, for example, I have macaroni and cheese, pizza, and sushi. Can I be more specific with pizza and sushi? Yes, but the general food type, I think that'd be my favorite. Pizza qualifies unless there's pineapple on the pizza. If you disagree,
dude, no.
So, fellas, your 3 favorite foods.
Alex, I'll let you go.
All right, sounds good. So, my number 1 for me, spaghetti. I've been with spaghetti for my entire life. It will never change as the number 1. My number 2 is what we call a BLC. It is a BLT, and I don't like tomato on it. So we take off the tomato, put some cheese on that, and boom, you've got yourself one heck of a dinner. And honestly, it hits so much harder than I have any right to be. And then number 3, I put more as a general here. I put chicken. Chicken is by far my favorite meat.
Same.
That is at least also somewhat healthy because bacon, if I ate it every day, I don't think I'd be breathing. But no, chicken is a food that I can have in so many different ways here, and almost all of them are fantastic. I'm a truther in saying that chicken sandwiches are better than burgers. I do not care what other people say on that. A good crispy chicken sandwich beats out a good burger about 90% of the time. Yeah.
I am a big fan of chicken too. It's my favorite type of protein, I think.
Same.
Anyway, I'm going to go no particular order. The food I had tonight for dinner, carbonara. Love it. It basically, combines 3 things I love: pasta, eggs, chicken, cheese, bacon, cheese. So, there's that. And then next I go chicken parm. It's my favorite type of chicken, I feel like. Big fan of that. And then last, it couldn't be complete without some type of barbecue thing. I am going to North Carolina next week, for nationals, and supposedly we're going to do barbecue for a team dinner. So I went with brisket. That is one of my favorite cuts of meat. When it comes to barbecue, I mean, that's something I feel like I always go for: brisket, pulled pork, those type of things. But I think brisket above all. So those are my top 3.
I respect that 100%.
All right. From top 3 to bottom 3. In 1961, there was a song made. It was called Meet the Mets. In 2026, I think it is more appropriately called Beat the Mets. Mac, your beloved Metropolitans are on a 12-game losing streak. Explain.
Where do I begin? They're 2-2 right now. I'll say that much. It's really like when it rains, it pours with this team right now. They just get Juan Soto back. That's the thing is they missed their best player for 2 weeks, and they won 2 games in that time frame. I'm not going to count the game where he initially got injured. They won that game too, but yeah, I thought maybe they'd be able to cover that ground. My bare minimum hope was 500, and they managed to lose a dozen games in a row. Really just blows my mind. And Francisco Lindor today is dealing with calf tightness and came out of the game. So yeah, a lot of things are going wrong. I'll say that on the pitching front, yes, Splash.
I just want to ask while you're discussing, does it feel any different because a lot of these Mets are new Mets as opposed to the Alonsos, McNeils of the world that you've seen them have their highs and lows and you kind of like gone to battle with them? But Polanco, I know you follow the Mariners too, so you've seen Polanco before. But Polanco's a new Met. Robert, he's been good, but he's a new Met. Benj, he's been atrocious. He's a new Met, etc. Do you think that changes the feelings a little bit, one way or the other?
So that's the thing is, I want to exercise some level of patience here because for some of these guys, actually a lot of these guys, it's their first time playing in New York. And like you were saying, it is a new team for the most part. And I defended David Stern's strategy of breaking up that core. That core didn't win anything. They were there for 7 years. They got past the wild card round once in those 7 years. And in general, that was a disappointing period, I feel like, to be a Mets fan, because they every year it felt like there were expectations and they were failing. They were not meeting those expectations. The exceptions were 2022. Even that was sort of a disappointment. They only made it to the wild card round. 2024 was great. You make the NLCS, you have this huge comeback from being 10 games under 500, 11 games under 500. But I mean, really, I understood why they do it, why David Stearns did it. But I understand why people are, starting to lose their patience quickly. I mean, most teams, it's not normal to lose 12 games in a row. And I'll say this much, though. On the pitching side of things, this is going about as I expected. Bullpen's a little shaky. All right, this was my biggest concern coming into the year. Starting rotation in general, been pretty good. Noel McLean is great. Freddie Peralta, I know his ERA is over 4 right now, but he's been good, I think. He had one sort of rough outing on opening day, but in general, I've liked what I've seen from Freddie Peralta. Clay Holmes is good. He's been, solid every time he takes the mound. The combination of Tobias Myers and David Peterson worked flawlessly on Sunday, until, the 9th inning. But I am concerned about Kodai Senga. I really am curious to see what Christian Scott has in store coming back to the majors, but it's early in the season. All right, there are 139 games left in the season. They have a chance to turn it around. This team is too talented to stay this bad. But if we get to Memorial Day and they are still, putzing around below 500, 5-10 games below 500, I wouldn't blame them if they start thinking about selling. I also wouldn't blame them in the slightest if they let Carlos Mendoza go. He's on an expiring contract, and this is the 4th time in the last 10 months that they've lost at least 7 games in a row. So I would not blame them for letting him go. I think we have to exercise a little bit of patience, like I said, because this is a largely new roster, but the patience is going to wear pretty thin if they keep losing like this.
So I want to bring up something here. So on April the 7th, the team was 7-4 after that game. They were 3 games above 500. Things were looking all right here. My birthday happens April 8th, and they go on this torrent losing path here. What I want to bring up, though, are the teams that they face during this time here. So first, it was the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are not anyone's idea of the best team in baseball, but they're all right. They're 3 games above 500 right now in a pretty tough NL West. You know what? I'll take that. Then you lose 3 to the Athletics. The Athletics were going into today the top team in the American League West. It is now the Rangers somehow. But then after that, then you have the Dodgers. When it rains, it pours, and it really hurts. It's really bad when you're walking in a storm and then it just starts hailing. That's what the Dodgers were in that moment.
I've had that happen before.
And then just pound them with hail. It's like, we're just going to make this worse. Then the Cubs. The Cubs, if I take a look at my standings here, are second in the National League Central with a 14-9 record. Here, again, another good team here. And now they're playing against the Twins. The Twins are not a good team, but they're playing good at the start of the season. That's the other thing to kind of work with here. They're currently tied at 2 at the time of this live stream, this recording. After this, they have the Rockies at home. Then you have the Nationals at home. This streak is going to end very soon, and I think all it's going to take is one win, and we're going to see this team start going back on that streak again. Because that's the one thing that you've seen a lot. We see a lot in baseball here. When teams go on these horrible losing streaks, it's because they've forgotten how to win. When they relearn how to win, they keep that feeling going. Momentum is very, very real in baseball. We have seen that time and time and time again. I don't even want to go into too many of the stats. You guys have already done that for me, basically, on this point. But, well, Mac, you did it for me. But take a look at what it's like the fact that you have one offensive player above 100 OPS plus. That's all it needs to be said. There's no way that is sustainable for a team that is as talented as the New York Mets are.
And I'm gonna add something in here, which is that it's not. I tweeted this the other day. It's not like they're inventing new ways to lose. They're losing the same way every single game. It feels like they're going out there. Offense isn't doing their job. Pitching staff keeps them in the game. Bullpen blows it or something like that. All right. I mean, the last couple games, it's been Devin Williams has had a bad outing in the 9th inning. Or really, it was on Sunday. And boy, this was the most predictable thing possible. They have a 1-0 lead, 1 on, 1 out. Who gets the game tying hit? Michael Conforto. Like, that was the most predictable thing on planet Earth. As soon as I heard Conforto was in the on-deck circle to pinch hit, I'm like, there's no way that dude is not at least tying the game here. But it's literally the same script. And the thing is, when they fall behind, their at-bats get 100 times worse. I mean, there's a game, the last game against the A's, they're down 1-0 going bottom the 9th inning. You have the meteor coming up. I was at a swim meet on Long Island that afternoon. I just decided, you know what? All right, let me see what happens. The meet just wrapped up. By the time I opened my phone in the 9th inning, there were already 2 outs, and the game ended. They went down on 4 pitches. Then 2 days later, you get this great outing from Nolan McLean. Great duel with Yoshi Yamamoto. All right, bottom the 8th inning, Brooks Raley has a rare rough outing, leadoff walk, soft single to Kyle Tucker, 2-1. Alex Mathias comes in, and it was just, it was a disaster. It's 10 pitches, if I'm not mistaken. Mathias didn't throw a single breaking pitch in the strike zone, and they just kept swinging. They struck out in order, and it was just like, dude, these at-bats are not competitive. It happened again on Saturday. Like, all right, you got a chance. It's a close game, save situation, 3 straight strikeouts, not even coming close on any of them. So it's really, really just a disaster. And to answer your question, Eddie, I was in Nassau. I'm from Manhattan, born and raised.
It's so weird seeing, because yes, every time when you have these players that just forget what it's like to play baseball, it just gets aggravating. Here, that's all it is at this point, because it's like, what needs to be done. It's just whether or not you can actually do it.
Fellas, I know we've been talking about the Mets. We have a Mets fan on the podcast, but you really, truly came for the Braves fans' opinion on the New York Mets.
Never good.
Can I mute him real quick?
Yeah.
Again? Actually, no. Can your internet mute you again real quick?
Just whack my microphone.
Tired.
I would like to give a thank you to the Chicago Cubs. I have been at your throats in recent years. You disrespected my Pookie Bear Ronald Acuna in 2023. I will let bygones be bygones. Thank you for beating the Mets. Thank you for beating the Phillies.
I was gonna say they're abusing the Phillies.
So it is much appreciated. The Phils suck. The Mets, maybe they'll turn it around one day. I'm going to defend my honor first, real quick. Nolan McLean, there's a difference between being a top rookie and being like a top 5 pitcher in baseball. We can pump the brakes just a little bit. Can he get lefties out? I'm still asking. And I did have McGonigal. I like McGonigal. I wanted some different. I saw your guys' rookie of the year ballots, and I wanted some different names. So hold the McGonigal slander of me on McGonigal. But the Mets vibes are just atrocious, and the Mets, perhaps more than any team in sports, are vibes. The Mets and Jets in a lot of ways are the same, and the Knicks you can toss in there. The Knicks vibes have been a lot better in recent years, but like the pre-Carmelo Anthony Knicks, like the Eddie Curry Knicks.
I was saying, the later Carmelo Anthony Knicks were
that's true
abysmal. I couldn't watch the NBA for a few years.
Yeah, so there were some bad vibes, and some of it's the New York sports fans. That's just, it is what it is. But I think the vibes could potentially turn. Soto's back. I know Lindor's out, but Lindor honestly has been not.
He's
very
come alive.
Lindor-y.
He's come alive in the last week or so, but in general, it's been another one of those typical slow starts from him.
That's fair, and there's been a couple uncharacteristic fielding plays. He only has one home run, and that came.
I think he has 2 now. He had a second last night.
Yeah, so he had the 1 home run entering play yesterday, and the vibes are bad. But hey, there's a good way to fix the vibes is to start winning some ball games. And Carson Bench didn't work out, but maybe there's a player in the Mets org that you call up and that works, and you start building momentum. And this is what it happened in 2024. You have the Grimace, you have the Hawk Tua, you have all these off the field things that the OMG. Jose Iglesias hit 330 that year. Jose Iglesias wasn't even on the Mets to start the season. So
no, he was not. He began the year in the minors.
Yeah, so we've seen some chaos in the NL East. I have fond memories of 2021 and 2022. In 2024, the Braves blew something of a lead. The Mets chased them down 10 games, and then it didn't end up mattering game 162. But it's a long season, admittedly, and I think the Mets can bounce back. And I trust them a little bit more than the Phillies from a lineup depth perspective. I trust the Phillies a little bit more from a rotation perspective. They get Zach Wheeler back this week. Jesus Luzardo needs to be checked into a mental asylum to figure out what he's doing on the mound. Christopher Sanchez is spectacular. Taijuan Walker needs to be sent to Alcatraz. Andrew Painter, the jury is out. I'll say that. The jury is out. The bullpen has a lot of lefties. I don't know. And then mound man, Jose Alvarado throwing 100. I don't know how anyone hits him, but apparently they do. I don't know.
And he's injured right now.
And he's injured. Duran's injured.
Injured, yeah.
The Phillies are down bad. Arguably will be down bad more than the Mets by the time we record next time. So
yeah, and I feel like we should admit, because there's no basement dweller in the NL Central right now. Let's just put it that way.
I was going to pivot to the NL Central, aka we're going to talk about the Phillies.
Yeah, I was going to say the Phillies, I'm concerned because this is an aging roster, too. This is not a young group. And unlike the Mets, this is basically the same roster they're bringing back. Again, it's just one, you try to run this thing back with Alec Boehm in the middle of the lineup again. I mean, with Bryson Stott in the middle of the lineup. I mean, now JT Realmuto is hurt. Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper are doing all the heavy lifting. Trey Turner has a 75 OPS plus. That's not going to cut it. JT Realmuto, like I said, just got injured. Bryson Stott is at a 42 OPS plus. Alec Boehm has a 7 OPS plus. Hello?
Yeah. I got a stat for you. I sent this to Eddie last night, actually. Alec Boehm went 0 for 3 tonight. His 384 OPS is the lowest in the Phillies' first 23 games, minimum of 75 plate appearances, in the live ball era. So since 1920, since essentially the end of World War I, Alec Boehm is the worst hitter in the Phillies for the Phillies.
Yeah, and also
in a small sample size.
Somehow, but pitchers used to hit consider that. And there were some genuinely awful hitters for years and years, like the slap hitter types and the play shortstop. No
bat.
Yeah, exactly. Those were like sacrifice bunt specialists. Those were common archetypes of players for 60 plus years, 80 plus years. Heck, with all due respect, Mac, Luis Castillo hit second for the Mets.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I don't want to relive that, but the thing is with the Phillies is that the Mets have lost 12 games in a row, and somehow they're only one game behind the Phillies. And the Phillies have a worse run differential by almost 20 runs. Like there are like so many red flags about this roster, and this is not just me talking as a rival fan right here. Like genuinely, I look at this roster and they strike no fear into me right now. And yes, they're getting Zach Wheeler back on Friday, but is Zach Wheeler ready? He's coming off thoracic outlet syndrome, and he's in his mid-30s. He was only sitting between 90 and 92 in his last rehab outing. What thoracic outlet syndrome can ruin careers, all right? Especially when you're on the wrong side of 30. I don't know if the Phillies can expect Zach Wheeler to be an ace anymore. So yeah, the Phillies, look, I don't think they're going to be nearly as bad as their record indicates right now, but I'm not expecting them to I don't expect them to catch the Braves. And frankly, I'm expecting the Mets to leapfrog them because they're doing next to nothing to gain an advantage right now.
Yeah. Quick question before I give on my points on this. Ilanis asks, Splash, what you sipping on?
It's a grape Crystal Light. I was about to say lean. It took every ounce of my being to not say lean, but it's grape Crystal Light. And I have 2 gallons.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, good stuff.
Drinking a gallon of water every day is good for the body. I think
it is. Right? Can confirm.
Yes. I'm at right now. My goal is still at 3.5 liters worth of water a day. So.
That is a shade under a gallon, according to my gallon of water here. So good job.
Fair enough. Anyway, yeah, I look at the Phillies and I don't need to go too much further than looking at the pitching. You have one starter that is not just above, not above average, one that's above 97 here. And again, that is Christopher Sanchez. Good. He's doing fantastic. Good for him. A 1.5 B WAR this early is fantastic. Good for him. The problem is the rest of the starters can't do anything. Like Jesus Luzardo, 62 ERA plus. Aaron Nola, 84 ERA plus. My boy that I love very, very much, Taijuan Walker, 47 ERA plus. Andrew Painter, 80 ERA plus. I understand that ERA plus is not the end all be all here, but it's a nice little indicator to work with. Then you look at the relieving core, and then you think, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't look at the relievers core. Because you have Yohan Duran at a 3.29 ERA plus, but you can't count that he's hurt. So now your next highest is Brett Keller at 113, and boom, of your main relievers, that's it for above 100. You can put in Ryan Kerkering there at 110 here, but Ballin's injured as well as Zach Pop's injured here. Chase Schubert, 4 games has done okay. Cool. It's really funny when you take a look at if you were to put Dylan Moore, utility man Dylan Moore, into the starting rotation with his ERA currently, he would have the third best. The third best ERA in his 2 games pitching wise with a 5.4 ERA. I mean, come on. Here, the offense, I mean, I'm not as worried. I think that you still have some good players. The problem, again, like you said, is that they're getting older. They're not getting any younger here. But honestly, you do not need to look any further than just the pitching when you take a look at the Phillies, especially when you put them in the division that they're at here, that is so power hungry, that is so power heavy right now. I don't think with that pitching staff here that you can make anything honestly work here. And honestly, the Phillies need to be thanking their lucky stars that the Mets are doing as bad as they are, because otherwise they would be the story. Because it's really, really weird to think about that in the year of our Lord, 2026, the Phillies have a worse record than the Chicago White Sox. The Chicago White Sox are 9-14 and have outwon the Philadelphia Phillies. What are we doing here?
Yeah, and I don't know if this is going to help the salary cap or anti-salary cap argument, but you look at the top teams in payroll, a lot of them are kind of struggling this year. You got the Mets, you got the Phillies, you got the Blue Jays. Like, other than the Dodgers, I guess, the Yankees have caught fire in recent days, but maybe saying that high payroll doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win games. I don't know what this is going to do for CBA negotiations, but it is worth pointing that out.
Yeah,
and it is worth pointing out San Diego has a new owner.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So
shout out Jose Feliciano.
Not that Jose Feliciano.
I was about to say he spent like billions upon billions of dollars just to prove that he's not the person that's saying Feliz Navidad.
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, I think that's great for baseball, and it costs more than the Mets, and that not even like shade of the Mets. I think that is notable that baseball money continues to go up and up and up, and I think it's a little screw off to the owners who are like, we need to institute a salary cap so we can have control over how much money we might be putting into our ball clubs. The Padres sold for like $4 billion. They're in Sandy freaking Ego. Come on. Like, if the San Diego Padres, with all due respect, can sell for $4 billion just near, what do you think the Chicago White Sox can sell for? What do you think?
Aren't the White Sox getting there?
I don't know. I'm just hypothetical. They're in a big city. What about the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Angels of California, Angels? What do you think they would sell for? They're in freaking Los Angeles, kind of. What about the Washington Nationals? How much do you think they would sell for? These are bigger markets than San Diego, with all due respect to San Diego. But, I mean, Peter Seidler did one hell of a job developing the baseball culture in that city. And they sell out games like crazy. They have a rabid fan base. They have a red hot relationship with the Dodgers in terms of hating their guts. And I really respect that. And I love that. And that's great for baseball. And as much as Manny Machado is a little annoying and I'm still mad about 2024, the Padres are great for baseball. And I appreciate that they have an owner. Hopefully, I don't know anything about this guy. Hopefully he puts money into the Padres like Peter Seidler did. And hopefully they have a great rivalry with the Dodgers, and they push the Dodgers to great heights, and they push the Giants, the Diamondbacks, and the Rockies to develop and get back to winning ways. But just a shout out there, and maybe that'll be good for our NL West talk. Do we want to talk about the Giants?
We can touch on them briefly. I feel like
do we really want to hurt XYZ balling though? Like that's
look, XYZ balling. I'll say this much: they've been better than they were at the start of the year. They're at least up to 10-13. And unfortunately, this is about where I'm going to cap them. They're about a 500 ball club. So they're honestly, now that they've sort of gotten out of that terrible losing streak that they opened the year on, they're kind of playing to my expectations.
That's fair. And unfortunately, I picked them to make the playoffs. So yikes.
I don't know about that one, dude.
I don't know about that one. But some of my other predictions have gone well. So fellas, it's time for our do war and awards update. In the war draft, I said we were all winners. That's true. I lead the overall war draft with 14.2 war. Shout out to Kevin McGonigal, 1.8 baseball reference war, 1.2 Fangraphs war. The opposite of a shout out to Griffin Jacks, who is still tanking everything I know and love. He's at negative 1.3 across both. Then Mac leads in baseball reference war. Shout out to Aaron Judge. Shout out to Matt Chapman. They're over one. The thing that Mac does particularly strongly, he picked a good reliever. Alex and I did not pick a good reliever. Andres Munoz allowed another earned run today, so that's not going to help matters.
Big Amish.
And Mac has no negatives, either B war or F war, so he has no negatives. Congratulations. Mac is 0.4 total war behind me. And Alex, what are you leading in? Oh, he just leads in Fangraphs war. So... yeah, he has 7.7 Fangraphs war, led by Yordan Alvarez. Also, Jose Ramirez is over one. Also, Bryce Turang is over one. And Nolan McLean's at one. But unfortunately, his baseball reference war is tanked by Mr. Allow 10 earned runs to the Minneapolis Twins and Garrett Crochet, and Andres Munoz pooping his pants against the San Diego Padres. So I lead. I'm at 14.2. Mac is at 13.8. Alex is at 13.5. It's all tight. It's all close together. And we all lead a different category. That I think is weird.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, for the comment here, I do want to ask Splash if you are hype, but we're not done yet. We still got a little bit more to go.
I mean, honestly, I don't know, man. It wears me out getting hyped for the draft every year because so many of the players don't materialize, and it kind of wears on your psyche. When I'll use an example, Carson Strong. I really liked Carson Strong, quarterback out of Nevada. I thought he was Ben Roethlisberger with less mobility. I really liked him. He went undrafted, and it just kind of stinks because there's some players. It wears you down from a like you like these players, and you get all hyped up for them, and you're big fan of this, big fan of that, big fan, and then they don't exactly translate the NFL sometimes, and that just stinks. And it, as a Ravens fan, it wears me out, particularly in 2022. So the Ravens basically used my draft board. Like I had Kyle Hamilton was the highest ranked prospect left when they drafted Hamilton. Linderbaum was the highest ranked prospect when they drafted Linderbaum. Ojabo was the highest. Take that back. Ojabo was not the highest. He was second highest because I had Travis Jones ahead of Ojabo. But I had the Ravens just used my draft board, and Ojabo didn't work out in the NFL. Tyler Linderbaum is on a different team. Travis Jones is still here. I just got his jersey. Kyle Hamilton's still here. I got his jersey. It just kind of wears me out. So I love the NFL. I love the NFL draft, but having so many players that don't end up mattering kind of wears on my psyche a little bit.
Right.
That's it's hard. It's hard devoting so much of your time to guys that end up not mattering. And that's not to disrespect the players. They're NFL players. I will never be in the NFL. They have accomplished so much more in life than I will ever do. But it, from my perspective as a fan and as a draft analyst previously, kind of wears me out. But 14th pick, man, I want a wide receiver. A wide receiver would be great. I trust Eric DeCosta to draft a good football player. That's what matters. The Ravens need more good football players.
Yeah, I'm obviously don't have too much in this. I think the Steelers drafting 24th. But I will say, shout out to my New York football fans. Best of luck to your guys' teams, especially the Giants having 2 picks in the top 10. You traded Dexter Lawrence to get that 10th pick. So best of luck, guys. Best of luck to the Jets fans too. Draft your team's drafting at pick number 2. Hopefully you don't mess this up. It would be great to have a competitive football team at least in the tri-state area.
Eddie, tell us about what the talented Giants took the last time they had 2 top 10 picks. Hint: it was not good. Well, yeah. Thibodeau.
It was not.
Yeah, Thibodeau and Evan Neal. Oof. But that was the 22 draft.
Yeah. I remember watching that.
What pick did the Seahawks have again? I can't quite think. What pick did the Seahawks have again? I can't quite remember.
I'm honestly,
I don't remember either.
Actually, I don't know if they actually even have their first round. They normally trade back
in 2020 because 2023 was the JSN Flowers Addison draft. Yeah. Who was
just
was
making
that Spoon? I got into so many goddamn arguments over that draft. I loved the Seahawks draft. And I'm like, they drafted 5 starters. And Jets fans are like, but we drafted Sauce Gardner. Like, screw off. The
Sauce Gardner, oh my God. Yeah.
Known Jets legend. So the Seahawks had Charles Cross, Boye Mafe, now on the Bengals, Kenneth Walker, who just won Super Bowl MVP, by the way, Abraham Lucas, Kobe Bryant, Reek Woolen, Tyreek Smith, Bo Melton, Derrick Young. That's 4 starters.
My boy Abe Lucas, go Cougs.
So that one I got into not actual fights, but I got into arguments with Jets fans over that one. And I thought the Ravens had a great draft. $300 million worth of money given out to those guys in free agency, by the way, for the Ravens. No quarterbacks. Back on track here. Alex leads the way in the awards draft. He's at 160%. All of these odds are from Kalshi, updated this morning. I'm in second with 111%. Shout out to Murakami. He's up to 29% for me. And then Mac brings up last place, but it's close. He's at 107. His are a little more spread out because he did not pick Shohei Ohtani. He has McGonigal, Skeens, McLean. They're all over 30 or all over 20%. Fellas, I have the first 0 on the board. I had Logan Webb.
Oh,
he's at 0.
Ouch.
Alex has Kaz Okamoto 3%, Julio 6%. I had Julio 6%, Cease 7%. That should go up. Soto 7%. That should potentially go up for Mac. That's more of an Ohtani thing than a Soto thing. Then Witt's at 9%. Everything else is above 10% up. Justin Crawford's at 2%. Oopsie poopsie. So, fellas, is it time for another graphic transition?
I believe it is.
Alex, the reins are yours, buddy.
All right, it's trivia time, and this is the first time I get to host trivia under the new rules we have of the last winner host trivia. I decided to have some fun with this, and you guys are the ones that get to suffer. So, guys, it's time to have a pun quiz.
Oh boy!
So, what I have done here is I have
puns.
made 6.
I like puns too.
3 and 3 different baseball related puns that usually are around a baseball player. I believe actually all of them are, except for one of them. And you just gotta tell me what the pun is. If you're close, I'll give it to you here. But you gotta at least give me an effort on it here. And I do have a tiebreaker if we need it here. So, fellas, first, do you have any questions before we get started?
So you're just gonna give us the pun and.
Yep. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna do our normal way of deciding someone who goes who decides they want to go first or second. They will get the odd picks 1, 3, and 5. Evens will get evens.
Okay, got it.
Sure.
All right. Mac, give me a number between 1 and 10.
7.
Splash.
Give me 5.
The answer was 2. So, All right, Splash, would you like to go first or would you like to defer?
Yeah, lay it on me, buddy.
All right, here we go. Your first pun here for you to discern. What is this? By the way, for those of you that are watching this later on Spotify, here, make sure to go to YouTube to watch the VOD here of this, as that will be where you can see the pictures that I made myself today.
What the heck?
Except for one of these. I did not make one of these.
Okay. First of all, this reminds me of my thumbnails I made for the 2022 draft. I had Sauce Gardner. I got a bunch of sauces, and I just put his face on all of them. This is a 10-gallon hat.
This is absolutely a 10-gallon hat. There's 10 gallons on it, so it's a 10-gallon hat.
Okay, 10-gallon hat.
Oh my
All
God.
right. You are 1-0 so far, Splash. Mac, to you. What is this?
What the heck? I can't even see.
I encourage you, if you're listening on the podcast, please check out the YouTube because Alex's artwork is phenomenal.
This is the one I did not make, unfortunately.
Okay, all I see is
darn.
Pete Rose. A bunch of roses or something. I don't know the exact word.
You know what? I'll give it to you here.
Okay.
This is a bouquet of roses.
A bouquet. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, or a bunch of. I'll give you that one here. So, because that one, there's a bunch of names for it. So, all right, guys, tied at 1. Splash to you. What's this? Not sponsored by Tinder, by the way.
What the heck?
I just okay.
God.
I think Mac just got it.
I got it, I think.
Wait a minute. Is James just your cutout of the Tinder profile, or does that have anything?
I picked this one specifically. I will say that.
Oh my God. It's a catfish, but like a catfish dating profile.
Yeah, it's getting catfish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I knew it had something to do with the catfish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's catfish.
I'm like, who is that? It's like, oh, that's who it is.
So what I did with this one here is I found one for a profile named James, because first name is James. And
Jim Hunter,
it's just covering over to show that's not the real one. So
Okay.
All right. Good job. You got there in the end. All right. 2-1. Mac, Mac, what is this?
Ooh, what? Is it Jose Ramirez 4 times on like a ruler? I see. Oh, what the heck? What is going on here?
I am having so much fun. I surprisingly put a lot of work into these.
I must be really bad at puns because
No. This is arguably one of the hardest ones.
oh my god, what? I can't even now. I can't tell if that's a ruler or if that's like those are like I I honestly, I don't even know what I'm looking at, man.
Fair enough.
Can I get half a point for identifying the object?
I won't give half points because it's gonna make life way too hard.
Okay.
But
Is it JRAM on a RAM card?
It's close. You got it basically here because if your computer needs a little bit of help with performance, just gotta give it some more JRAM.
Oh my god, what?
Okay.
Because that's a stick of RAM.
Yeah,
Okay.
I couldn't tell what that was, but all right.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a ruler, looks like a razor blade, but
Yeah.
obviously
No,
not.
Here's the thing. I had to pick one that was a little bit smaller because otherwise it would have gone off the screen, and I did not want to put that many JRAM faces on there.
Fair enough.
There.
All right. So it's 2-1 the score. Splash, it's now time for your third and final pun.
Oh boy.
What is this?
Oh.
Sale on sale?
I'm gonna need you to be a little bit more specific, but I'm inclined to give it to you, but can you please be a little bit more specific?
Sale item? What?
I want to give Mac a chance here on the next one here, but I'm basically going to give it this to you. This will be another tiebreaker. This is a clearance sale.
Oh.
Okay.
I knew it was something like that.
Yeah. No, this is a clearance sale because 70% off usually only for clearance.
Okay, fair enough. Shout out to the clearance section.
Mac.
Okay.
Your final one. I'm going to give that to you because basically you're there.
Okay.
But Mac, to you, what is this?
Frank the Tank. I mean, Thomas the Tank Engine.
Put it all together.
Frank the Tank Engine.
Oh my God, Mac.
What? Thomas the Tank Engine?
Frank Thomas the Tank Engine.
Frank Thomas the Tank Engine.
It's Frank Thomas the Tank Engine. All right, yeah, you know what? Mac, as a Splash, 100% gets the win here.
Yeah.
For that here. So,
I'm disappointed in myself because Thomas the Tank Engine was like one of my favorite shows as a kid. So
the fact you didn't get this and it took even longer than that is what.
Yeah.
Okay, you should you should have put the other Frank Thomas. That would have been a good one. The Mets legend Frank Thomas.
All right,
two, I like the jersey number on the tank engine.
I like the 35. Yeah,
thank you. That was supposed to give it a little extra bit, like who could it be? Yeah, it's Frank Thomas.
Yeah.
All right,
you respect Frank Thomas more than the Chicago White Sox do. Good job, buddy.
Yep.
Anyway, just for fun, we're gonna do the tiebreaker just because I don't want these to go to waste.
Sure.
Here. So either of you can buzz in and tell me what is this. This is not a baseball or a player thing. This is something related directly to us.
What?
It is a golf card where all of us got 4s on the first hole.
Par for the course. LAR at PAR.
Yeah, you know, close to this is our new golfing podcast called LA Par.
Oh, okay. I like that one. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, there's something special also about this trivia. Splash, you get a prize for winning this.
I know I get to host next week's
trivia.
You
do get to host next week, but
do.
you also get what Jumbo D has popcorn shrimp. Here, Jumbo D is one of the most fun players here. Is also now a popcorn shrimp. Oh yeah, and you get to host next week too.
I want to give a shout out. So thank you, friends and family. I want to give a shout out to Antonio Alfonseca. Why? Because he was mentioned on the Tim Kirkshin and Jeff Kirkshin podcast 3 weeks in a row for being Antonio Alfonseca. So good job.
Fair enough. I want to give a shout out here specifically to Zane Games, a YouTube channel, one of my personal favorites here that does silly quizzes like this all the time. So thank you for giving me the kind of inspiration to go ahead and make this for podcast today.
All right, fellas.
There we go.
It is now time for our moment to ourselves. Shout out to the chat, by the way. It was popping. We got Eddie, got Double Bass, we got Ralph, we got XYZ Ballin, of course. So shout out to the homies. Fellas, I would like to go first.
Go for it.
If that is okay.
Yep, absolutely fine.
Okay. Count me down, please.
3, 2, 1, begin.
Some rapid fire. Go Cavs, 2-0. Beat Toronto again at some point. Number 2, LeBron's the GOAT at 41 freaking years old. He's carrying the Lakers. what can I say? That's about all on that front. I went to a baseball game on Saturday. It ended up going, I think, 12 or 13 innings. I left halfway through because I had to go to work, unfortunately. So that's fun. Virginia, you're a weird state. That's all I'm going to leave it at. You're a weird state. I'm not a registered voter here, so I can't have opinions, but you're a weird state. I will say that. Rest in peace again to Garrett Anderson. You're a legend. Yeah, it's really untimely, honestly, because I did the we're working on a project for the group, right, for LAR, and Garrett Anderson was one of the players mentioned, and now that's going to take more of a somber feel. So that's unfortunate, but maybe I can do more of a tribute for that section. And my last bit, there was a wonderful post by fellow YouTuber, and that's baseball. He made a tier list of how many teams would Derek Jeter be the greatest player for that org. So there's some yeses, some maybes, some nos. I will not subject you to the same conversation I had with Mac and Alex yesterday because I spent too many voice notes explaining my opinion. To me, best and greatest are not the same. They're not the same. How do I define the difference? Greatest is the best, in this case, baseball reference page. If you just simulated a career and you got this page, this would be what you wanted, right? So I'll use an NFL example. Tom Brady is the GOAT. He is not the best quarterback, in my opinion, of all time. That's Mahomes, Rodgers. It's not Brady. I know that's what I believe. The best player is not always the greatest player. Just like this is an MJ, LeBron, Kareem, Bill Russell argument. If you are arguing greatest, you could say Bill Russell is the greatest. He won 11 rings. No one else is going to ever win 11 rings. That is a totally valid opinion. MJ, you could argue he's greater than LeBron because he has 6 rings and 5 MVPs. Or Kareem, you could argue is 6 MVPs and 6 MVPs and 6 championships. All of those things are fine. I consider LeBron to be the best player, the greatest player, whatever. So in this case, it's the same. In football, it's not the same. In baseball, he pined that Derek Jeter would be the greatest player in a lot of organizations. And I took issue with that because I think greatest here derives something from Jeter's playoff performances. And if you mapped Jeter's playoff performances onto other teams, obviously him winning 5 rings would be the best thing in the history of the Diamondbacks or the Rockies or the Marlins or the Mariners or the Brewers of these other teams. But what about other teams who had a GOAT level player in that time span? I'm thinking Barry Larkin. I'm thinking Chipper Jones. Don't think too hard about it. Is Larkin better than Johnny Bench? Probably not. Is Chipper Jones better than Hank Aaron? No. But if you add 5 championships to the equation and you're saying, okay, Larkin and Jeter play together on the Reds. I don't know how that happens. Just imagine it for the sake of example. How many championships do they win? I don't know. Maybe they win 5. I don't know. If you add them to the Braves, they might win 10. If you had Chipper at short instead of, with all due respect to Jeff Blauser and Walt Weiss, if you had him at short and Chipper at third, oh my goodness gracious heavens, that would have been an unbelievable team. They probably win 10 World Series. That changes the calculus of both Jeter's career and Chipper's career. I think Chipper is clearly the better player. Obviously, they're not Hank Aaron. But if you had Chipper with 8 rings or Jeter with 8 rings, are they greater than Hank Aaron? I don't know. I don't think so, but that is a worthwhile question. If you put him in Boston and you put him with Nomar Garciaparra, that would have been electric, by the way, is a 5-ring Derek Jeter, who is a better individual player than David Ortiz, with more playoff success than David Ortiz, breaking the curse earlier than David Ortiz. Is he better than Ted Williams in the greatest of all time Red Sox debates? I don't know. I found that to be a fascinating question. I'm going to stop rambling.
I mean, and to your point, I mean, it made me think of another Yankee. I mean, Mariano Rivera is the greatest closer of all time because of also how insane he was in the regular season and because of his longevity and all that. But like the best closer I've ever watched, at least in terms of like pure domination in his prime, was Craig Kimbrell. Like, you know, and I know people will probably debate that. But what he did up until his Red Sox tenure ended, I think, was, I mean, it was undeniable how great he was. He had 300 saves by the time he turned 30 years old. Yeah. But yeah, I could talk about that one probably
Hall of
for
Famer.
hours.
He should be a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, 100% he's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
I fully agree.
But you guys get what I'm saying, that you like the greatness part of it.
There's a difference between ability, like how good were you as an overall player, and what you did for your organization.
Yeah, like could you argue that like Trout, I would say Trout and Griffey, but neither have any playoff success. Like I would argue Griffey's a better baseball player than Derek Jeter. Jeter is a greater baseball player with the playoff success and the gravitas and all. Maybe that's not a great comparison. Or Larkin, Robin Yount and Jeter, essentially the same stats, 3,000 hits, one team, but Jeter has all the playoff success. I think that makes him greater, but maybe not necessarily better. I think they're equivalent players. But like if, say, Mantle's not a great comparison because he's like a cut above. Like DiMaggio versus Griffey versus Trout. The greatest player of the group is Joe DiMaggio. The best player of the group is probably Trout. You could argue Griffey. You could argue DiMaggio. But DiMaggio is clearly, to me, the greatest of the group. And part of that is the legacy of winning all the rings, being a Yankee, the 56-game hitting streak. That doesn't necessarily mean he's better than Trout or better than Griffey. It's just he happened to have 56 games in a row with a hit, for example, or he happened to be on the Yankees to have the playoff success. But he ends up being like greater in a sense. Are we following?
I get that. Yeah.
So that's the tough thing for me with that, because I'm the only one that cares, unfortunately. But
I understand it exactly.
Like if you take Jeter's career, and he actively took multiple rings from Chipper Jones. So if you say, all right, would Derek Jeter be the greatest Brave of all time? I'm questioning, well, where does he get the rings? If he played as a Brave, it would help Chipper's GOAT candidacy just as much as Jeter, and they overlapped just about the exact same years. All of the championship years are overlapping. The Braves won in 99 or won in 95, my bad, and perhaps would have won in other years if they had Derek Jeter playing shortstop.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. All right. I'm done to go next, Dave.
All right, Alex.
Yeah,
I'll count you down.
Sounds good.
3, 2, 1.
So I'm a man of my word here. Top 3 Mariner players of all time here. Number 1, Ken Griffey Jr. Number 2, this is in no particular order, by the way. Ken Griffey Jr., Ichiro, Randy Johnson. The one that it hurt to leave off here was Edgar Martinez here, but Ichiro, Griffey, and Randy just makes more sense. All right. Fast forward about 1:30 if you care at all about wrestling spoilers. Just giving you that right now. Here. I'm going to start talking in 3, 2, 1. WrestleMania Night 1 absolutely sucked. WrestleMania Night 2 was actually pretty dang great here. And maybe it felt better because of how bad WrestleMania Night 1 was. But, man, Night 1 was painful to watch. There was so little that was good except for the opening here, where the first match, really good. It was a great start here, a great feel-good moment. It was downhill from there. And even the final match here, there was just too much going on for it to honestly feel good. Because, like, honestly, I wanted Randy to win. I like Cody, but I think the story went better for Randy to win it here. But nope, Cody won. Night 2, absolutely fantastic. Started out with an immediate bang, Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar in what may be Brock Lesnar's retirement. So, cool. Will make my intro feel a little bit different here now that Brock's potentially retiring. But main events here, Roman over Punk here. The match itself was absolutely incredible. That was an amazing, amazing match here. Although I am sad the Punk did not win, because when is this man going to get his WrestleMania main event win? He finally got his main event appearance last year. It's like, okay, so then this is the year he gets the win? No, loses to Roman, and it's like, ugh. I love Punk, one of my favorites of all time, one of the GOATs here, but come on, please just get the main event win so we can have that a storybook ending. Please let him have that here. Especially since he is getting older, he's probably going to have to take some time off again. But no, WrestleMania Night 2, absolutely worth every moment watched here. I don't know if I'm going to watch it back immediately. I probably will watch it again at some point But night one, I'm leaving that at the door.
Yeah, I just know that my good friend was flying to Europe and had live TV on his flight, but of course he was only able to get the first hour of it.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that they put the first hour on ESPN2 for both nights of WrestleMania, yeah. And then you had to go to ESPN Unlimited to watch the rest of it. I'm just like,
Mr. Unlimited. Sorry, Alex.
Yay. But yeah, one more thing here.
Sorry,
stop with having the rampant amount of ads, please.
Oh, no, you can't avoid that in any program these days.
No, legitimately, like there was a stat that came out to where of a nearly 4-hour show, almost 35% of it was advertisement. And that's just video advertisements. Not even considering the fact that there's advertisements everywhere you look. There were 10 different advertisements on the ring itself. Like, my word. I understand, yeah, you need the money and all that stuff. But you're already getting money from, checks notes, every fan that you're made to pay money for this WrestleMania. Anyway.
I do want to apologize. I forgot Russell Wilson was also employed by the Steelers. So I apologize for disrespecting both of you with the Mr. Unlimited.
I've tried to sort of forget about his tenure in Pittsburgh, but yeah.
I remember the last game quite fondly, in fact.
Yeah, I've tried to erase like the last 7 weeks of his Pittsburgh tenure from my memory. Just like I'm actively trying to erase that last game from Aaron Rodgers, who might just be the quarterback again next year.
Okay. I think it would have been better for both parties had Tyler Loop just made the field goal.
I mean, would have ended either way for Mike Tomlin because he was on his way out.
It would have ended either way for Harbaugh, as Steve so eloquently said, it extended him another week or whatever he said.
Exactly, it did.
So that Lamar versus Houston's defense this year, that would have been interesting. So, Mac, your turn, buddy.
All right, yeah. Someone count me down.
3, 2, 1, begin.
Yeah. First things first, the Knicks had a bad fourth quarter. Just going to say it. Probably helps to have 2 days off for their next game. It was fun to watch on my birthday, though. They actually was the only fun sports thing that happened on my birthday. There was no baseball on that day, right? I can't believe I'm talking about this on air, but there's controversy in wiffle ball of all sports. Somehow there is a professional league being formed, and it's preventing, Major League Wiffle Ball lost 13 players. MLW, in my opinion, was the original sort of pro wiffle ball league that I discovered completely by accident when I was in middle school. I was bored one day. I had just played some wiffle ball, and I came back in my apartment. I was just, gonna go on YouTube. Let's just Google wiffle ball leagues or something. I stumbled into MLW, and they've been up and running for 16 years, if I'm not mistaken. And they just lost 13 players because this new league called, I think, Big League Wiffle Ball, Big League Wiff, has an exclusivity clause that is now preventing their players from playing in any other league. So kind of sucks, if I'm being completely honest. Good thing wiffle ball is becoming profitable, I guess. But I guess maybe it's time for me to start playing wiffle ball again. That's sort of my point. But also, it's kind of weird. So yeah, kind of sucks to see what happened. What's happening to MLW? Considering I consider it the OG professional wiffle ball league. But hey, let's see what happens from here.
I mean, MLW is the GOAT. Just gonna be clear on that.
Oh yeah, I still love watching it.
I haven't watched a whole lot of their stuff here, but the fact that they built it up legitimately from nothing to being an actual real league, that's impressive.
We should have an LAR wiffle ball team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
In
the comments, your question of the day. We have our own. We're going to give one to you. Where should LAR HQ be? Alex, you are not allowed to make a burner account that says Seattle.
I mean, I'm not making a burner. I'm just going to say it's Seattle. Seattle's
fair
great.
enough. By the way, the triangulation of our locations would be in the middle of Iowa. We have all shot that down. So no Alex account saying Seattle and not in Iowa. Otherwise, fair game. And that'll wrap us up for episode some big number, over 100 episode of Losses Above Replacement. I have been Splash, joined by Alex and Mac. You can follow us collectively at LAR_baseball on Twitter, Instagram. Maybe we'll post more. I should probably post more. That's my bad. I'm also looking for there it is. You can follow us, LAR_baseball. You can follow us individually. Alex is at the Sports Guy 242. Mac is at Mathias_A_K. And I am at Mr. Splashman 19. And for all of us at Losses Above Replacement, aka just me, the Braves won today. Let's go Braves.
Let's go Mariners.
The Mets
will win
I don't
one
even
day.
think the Mets deserve to
The
be
Mets
mentioned.
will win eventually.
Win eventually.
Eventually. Are they going to win today?
Probably not.
Go crazy, boys!